Hi, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. This is the most important thing you can listen to today.
He's the one.
I have a dream.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I could do this all day.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Cinderella's story out of nowhere.
It's in the hole. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Capital Hacking begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to The Big Show. Josh McCallan here with the illustrious John Edwin. Welcome back to The Big Show.
What a amazing show. Totally different, this one, than we've ever done. Toby Fisher, he brings so much transparency to this show. He talks about how he had hit rock bottom, and he tells you the story of how he recently donated $1 million.
That's right.
Very unusual for most people in this world.
Yeah, what if we told you that the guy built his career one step at a time from learning from those that have been one step ahead of him, like Robert Allen. If you haven't heard of that, he's going to teach you how that worked for him. And then at some point, he really changed his scale. And it sounds like he puts himself in rooms to hear others' ideas. And then he takes an idea. Matter of fact, he's going to share a very compelling one. And picture this, folks. What if he tells you that by donating money, you could 10x your wealth over your donations? And he's like very honest about saying, don't donate money in order to become wealthy, but he's going to share with you a mental framework that changed his life. And I think he was very honest and humble about it. I thought he did a great job explaining it. So they're going to love it, aren't they, John?
Amazing episode. Let's go.
Okay. It's not every day you get to have Toby Fisher on The Big Show, John. Thank you for doing this.
I love it because Toby and I we're newer friends. We met a couple months ago, and he just impressed so much upon me on different levels that we're going to get into, that I had to ask him to come on the big. And Toby,
I praise
background of who you are.
So, where do I start? So I've been a real estate investor since 1996. So I've been around a little bit. My first property, if you remember the Robert Allen, no money down.
Yeah.
You maxed out all your credit cards because I had no money. So this was perfect. They even bought the book used. And back then I didn't know anything about other investors or mastermind groups or anything. So my first property was a foreclosure at auction.
Good for you.
It was a mess. And lived in the basement for 5 years as I rehabbed that and just bought more and more property.
Damn, dude, really?
Yes, really. Yeah. So when I say I started from the bottom, that is actually very true.
So wait. So the credit card max out was enough to actually buy the house, not just down payment.
So I was able to get the money. I got a bridge loan from a family member. It was a really cheap house. It was 120. It was a relatively cheap house. I got to borrow the money, get an FHA loan, fix it up on credit cards, and then start. Robert Allen had this system how you could take out credit cards and increase your limits and revolve the debt. And yes, I maxed out I got my credit cards about $500,000 in lines with about 350 taken out. So yes, I literally did buy houses with credit cards.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, that was Robert Allen, no money down.
So can you explain that? I've never bought houses. I've never used a credit card. How do you do that? Do you get like advanced checks or something? Or?
You get the advanced checks. It's not so easy anymore, but you would get an advance check. So you would get a credit card for $5,000. You'd call them up. So listen, can I get a credit increase? And there was a whole system. You call them every couple months. And if you don't ask for too much, you don't get dings on your credit. And then you would pull out the cash on the cash advance and say, well, I'll take out $20,000 on a cash advance, 3%, 6 months interest free, which they don't quite do that anymore. So it worked. I mean, I really was, if you will, eager enough to follow the instructions, and he had it laid out in the book. And so then I had this Excel spreadsheet, and this one's going to expire. And it was a real hustle to try not to ding your credit too much, to try to keep to keep it going. So yeah, that rolled up, I had 350 taken out of $500,000 in credit cards. And you tell them your income, they don't, as long as you're not asking for going from, let's say, a $5,000 credit to a $50,000, they wouldn't run your credit. They wouldn't ding, they wouldn't check your salaries, which is good because I didn't have that kind of salary to justify those credit cards. but I paid him. So that's
So what was your day job then back then? Sorry.
so back then. I was an overnight at a group home for the mentally ill.
So you had a lot of daytime work to be flexible.
I did. The job was it was one of these, very basic jobs, but yeah, it was an overnight job. I did a lot of overtime. I ended up becoming a manager in a mental health program, but also built the real estate as I went.
Wow, nicely done.
Yeah. So that was the Robert Allen. And as time goes on, you learn from other people. And the best advice that I was given that I didn't take for many years was throw away my tools.
Yeah. You mean don't do the rehab?
Don't do the
Yourself.
rehab. And that was a very difficult lesson for me to receive. That took me at least another 15 years, probably.
So, I mean, I'm curious. I don't want to interrupt your flow for a minute here. We'll come back to that. So how do you get from that to the world famous Toby Fisher that we know today?
Hey, everybody, it's Robert Helms, host of the Real Estate Guys radio program. And when you're not listening to our show, make sure you're tuned to Capital Hacking. You're going to dig it.
Well, world famous, I'm flattered. Let it be known, this is actually my very first podcast officially.
Yeah.
I'm flattered. So let it be known. Okay, so we come out. So I might as well lay out the story, which may take a minute to interrupt you.
No, please take your time. This is powerful.
Well, I started off as I did have a family member who was a real estate investor. He didn't view himself as such, but I thought to myself, that seems like a lot better way to make money than paint, because I was a painter. And that idea stuck with me. So the Robert Allen thing. I come in 2008. I bought my biggest deal, my first 100-unit deal in September 2007. I thought I was a genius. Yeah, it didn't work out so well because in 2008, my rent roll went from 36 grand a month to $16,000 a month.
My.
Yeah, it was painful. It was absolutely painful. I stayed true. I think I've met so many of us successful investors that are battle tested. I remember calling up the bank and one of my banks and saying, I have a problem. And they said, listen, we want you to come in and meet with the president. And I was like, oh boy, I'm in trouble now, right? And he's really nice to me. And I'm like, okay, I stopped him. So what's going on here? It says, you're at least calling us. We have all kinds of loans that they're not even calling us back. So, that whole experience of 2008, 9, 10, 11 was extraordinarily difficult. And somewhere along the line, and I don't know what seminar, and I don't know the man that told me this, he told me a visualization. And he said, if you were to donate $1 million, who would you, this is a visualization, so there's 3 parts. If you donate $1 million, who would you donate it to? How much would you need to create to donate to be able to have the capacity to donate $1 million? And by when would you do it? So I had decided it wasn't entirely clear. And he also explained that this is also about, it's not just about contributions, it's about the flow of money and you're going to create it. And like going back to the Robert Allen, the Excel spreadsheet days, I just followed the instructions. I think that's one thing I've learned to do well. It's like, okay, you seem to be successful. This is very painful. 2008, 9, and 10 were painful. So I committed to $1 million for a women's shelter by age 65. And to do so, I would need to create $10 million, actually 11, because I wanted to be left with 10.
Right.
One thing led to another. And so I made that commitment, or whatever. I was something like 45 years old, give or take. 65 gave me 20 years to do it. I hit it in 10. Now, I didn't want to admit I hit it my first year or two. So I'd roll my numbers because, okay, I committed that I would give away $1 million. And so I took another year to really come to terms with, no, I made the commitment. And then I got really clear on the donation and the commitment. And I think from that point, on those 2 years ago, it really just became crystal clear. I wanted to build a home for women with children who may be homeless, substance abuse, who were struggling. And it just became clearer and clearer and clearer. And the charity appeared. And so, and I wanted to donate either cash or property, but I was really thinking of property. I mean, listen, friends don't let friends pay taxes. There are some advantages to donating property. And I also thought from a legacy standpoint, you can spend cash, but it's not so easy to move a building, especially once it's established. So I decided to donate the building, talked to a couple charities, found one that was really committed, and it all came together in about a week. before the donation was complete. Papers are ready to go. I just have to go to the sign it over. I had shared with the president that I myself had been sober for 31 years. And my last detox was a detox in Waltham, Massachusetts at Middlesex State Hospital, which was these old, big, ugly buildings. 40 guys share one bedroom. You sleep with your shoes on. One, you might have to run, or two, they will steal your shoes. So sleep with everything on. And I shared with him and says, I got sober in this town. And it's just ironic. And he shared with me, he says, Toby, that's where we started. That was our start. I said, what do you mean? That was a state facility. How could you start that? It says, yes, but the state subcontracted the detox services to us.
So it was the same group, you think?
It was the same group.
Wow.
I didn't know that until a week before. So how did I run into John? I don't believe there's a coincidence. I do believe when we step in alignment with whatever our purpose is, whatever God, whatever the belief is, the world unfolds the way it's supposed to. It was not a coincidence that the charity that I started, because I was also a homeless addict living in a pickup truck in the early 1990s. My last detox was Middlesex State Hospital in Waltham, Mass. This charity was very small back then, a nonprofit. Their first contract was running this detox. And then 30-something years later, I'm making a contribution to the shelter. So is that a coincidence?
Beautiful.
It's miraculous is what it is. When you think about, 30 years ago, where you were at that time in your life, I mean, most people over their entire lifetime, two things. One, aren't homeless or, heavily addicted to much. Two, never would donate $1 million. And, go from there to here, that's miraculous. What a blessing. But there's more to this story, Josh. So Toby, can you give us a little more tidbit on, how things happened for you after you made this donation?
Okay. So I made the commitment. So I finally had chosen the charity. That was maybe about a year and a half ago. I decided what charity. And when you give a donation of that size, you can put strings to it. But one, I really didn't want to be a program director. And two, friends don't let friends pay taxes. And there's less tax advantages if you put strings to it. So I was really looking for a charity that lined up. And we really lined up on this. The president and I became very, very close. Around the same time, a month or two, when I made this decision, this really bizarre situation fell on my lap. One of my mentor's family members called me up and said, listen, my dad's in a lot of trouble. Can you help us out? We don't know what's going on. And he sadly had a significant medical challenges. And I stepped into that. And I think about one of the other lessons taught to me, come from a place of service. Like, I remember that. I was very clear. I was like, I'm not looking for a deal. Matter of fact, I was retired. I wasn't looking for anything. I just was looking to help out an old family friend of my father's who had been very helpful to me and help out the family in a difficult situation. And as I got more and more into it, is very clear, like, yes, I had to help this person out. But to do so, I need to take over the property, which I am a charitable man, but there's a point at which I come to, okay, so I need a part of this to make this work. So that's how I came upon Clock Tower Place in Nashua, New Hampshire, which is just a beautiful 343 unit complex on the river. It's really a magnificent building. Those two things, the charity, like working towards the charity, and the deal came together simultaneously. And I closed on the June 5th, I closed on the property. And the charity was all ready with building permits, plans in hand. They were ready to go. So they were already redeveloping it for what they need to do. And a couple of months later, I closed on Clock Tower. Wow. So, I believe, I don't believe it's a tit for tat, whatever one's belief is around God. I believe it is. It may not have worked out like that. It may not. I didn't do it for looking for, I didn't do the contribution to get something. I didn't do the deal to get something. I just was of service. And they came together. I don't believe it was a tit for tat. Oh, well, you did this, so you get that. I believe it is just God gave me a bigger opportunity.
Wow. Now, you made a comment earlier that you're like, I wasn't looking for this deal. I was retiring. What does your current portfolio look like today? Is it a cash flowing residential kind of portfolio that provides for your living?
Oh, yeah. So I say retire. The reality is I retire and then I get bored, right? So did I really retire? I just want to work. One of the things that I want to do, and a lot of what you hear is from somebody else, I want to do what I want, when I want, where I want, with whom I want. And that was the idea of freedom. So I really had created that by my early 50s, I'm 58. So about 5 years ago, I was at the point, I had enough cash flow. I have some residential property still in Massachusetts. I got rid of most of my residential. I picked up a bunch of triple net deals because they just seemed easy. They're not necessarily big money makers. They were just, you know what you do for triple net? Nothing. I mean, so that fit the lifestyle. And I have some office industrial space. And now we have this other piece of property. So I'm in 6 states, kind of a mixed portfolio, retail, industrial, office, and apartments.
And just one follow-up question. So in that portfolio, over the years of learning from Robert Allen's No Money Down, which was a great teaching book, did you end up raising capital to buy that portfolio, or did you buy it all out of your own portfolio? Or how do you hold those pieces now?
Hi, this is Melanie McCallan. Josh and I are just so grateful for the many investors who have already joined us at Accountable Equity. Accountable Equity is so much more than a capital group. It's really a community of accredited investors that want to learn and grow together. I just want to personally invite you, if you want to find out more about this type of investment and see if it's right for you and your family, please visit us at accountableequity.com.
Hey, it's Hal Elrod, author of The Miracle Morning, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. Enjoy.
All right, so some of them are partners. So I have a deal that's a family partnership in Boston. I have another deal that's a family partnership with my sister, and a lot of them. So the deal that I just closed is a syndication, so our reposition is syndication. So that one was already, well, basically that deal is I had to reposition and then I took over. The reality is everybody wanted me to take over this deal. So I took over, I signed, not personally on recourse, of course, for the loans, and took over as general manager for the property and took a piece of the property as equity. Some of my properties, I did another syndication. So I did do a syndication on my own. So I didn't have a specific strategy. One of my real estate mentors said I kind of look like scrambled eggs. And my theory was, and I think everybody has their own strategy, and it doesn't make one better or necessarily worse. Mine was effective for what I was trying to do. And what I was trying to do was make a donation, not be held responsible and be accountable for broken things and get phone calls and all the responsibility, be a very conservative cash flow. So that was really important to me. So most of my deals are either, you would think I had a crystal ball. I don't. I refinanced all my properties in 2019 for long-term loans. Now, because I thought inflation was coming, I was a few years wrong. But so now I'm sitting on a commercial debt that doesn't expire to 2031.
That's still done.
So my portfolio is like a mixture. So I really looked at it for myself. I looked at it. One of my mentors said, well, you're all over the place. I said, yes, but it went through a bad economy and I couldn't have predicted what happened. Like someone might diversify their stock portfolio. I diversified my real estate portfolio.
I love it. Now in our discussion of genuine contribution, you have another big goal ahead of you. If you can share about that. And I can remind you of our conversation.
No, you're talking about the 10 investors. I listened to I did listen to one of your podcasts. Hold on. It was, Brian Stewart. Is that right? You had Brian Stewart on. I listened to him. It was just and he struck me as a religious man. I'm not necessarily a religious man, but I do believe in God. I believe there are signs. I believe we are all gifted. We all have the opportunity if we step into it. So and I've been given so many coincidences, donating a shelter to the place that ran my detox. I can go through so many different coincidences or so many places that I should have been killed that I wasn't. So I believe that there is a path, a divine path, whatever. I think we all have it if we pay attention. So as I was coming complete with this donation, I'm like, I thought I was going to be an old man when I completed this, by the way. I don't. So what's next? And what came to me was to inspire 10 or more individuals to make $1 million donation within 5 years. And that could be someone who is completely struggling, who doesn't be alcoholic, could be homeless, because that's where I came from. It could be someone in the early parts of their abundance, like me, and go, I literally just listened to some guy in a seminar room tell me that visualization, and I did what he said to do, and it worked, right? And I didn't start off, it wasn't all about contribution. It was about self-preservation and just doing something different. So it could be that person, or it could be the person who has for those that have great abundance, what are we doing with it? There's one thing for sure, we're all going to die. And what's going to happen is if it goes to the kids, they're going to do, there's one thing I've learned for people who inherit money. They do what they do before. If they were spending ridiculously, they spend ridiculously. If they're savers, they're savers, right? And so I just felt it was upon me, one, to be public with what my story was. And listen, it's just a hopeful story, right?
I think it's a great story. And I just want to ask you, John, unless you have another, I have an idea where Toby should take the next minute and do an elevator pitch. And so let's pause the show here for a second and say, okay, as of right now, you have 100, maybe 1,000 people listening to you right now. Could you use this show as the launch or one of the launches of your goal to attract 10 people to commit to $1 million donation? But you have to make it an elevator pitch, right? So tighten it up and say why they should consider this and how it is going to influence their life, because that seems to have been what your message that you heard was somehow the visualization. So I'm asking you to do the Toby Fisher version of that visualization. Would you be up into that? Would you be willing to do that?
You want to do how I want the visualization? Yes.
You do your elevator pitch, the Toby Fisher method, for 10 of us to join forces or to do it this way.
Do you want to play with me, Josh and John? Are you going to play with me in this?
Yeah, we'll be the audience.
Yep. Okay, you'll be the audience. So if you were to donate $1 million in a single donation, where would you donate it to?
Me, it would probably be focused on helping those that have suffered from slavery or human trafficking, but I don't have the exact place yet.
It's okay. You have a framework. John, you have any framework?
Yeah, it would probably go to like an orphanage or something, or maybe building multiple orphanages.
Okay, great. And you can fine tune this as you go on, as it'll become clearer. If you were to donate $1 million, and if you choose to share this publicly, how much would you need to create to feel comfortable making a single $1 million donation?
I think you were right that you would probably want to be able to control about 10 times that donation so that you can provide for your other operating businesses and have safety, some security.
Yeah, my mind goes to, I know you can open up these charitable investment plans now and start, socking away 500 to 100,000 a year, and then, letting that build interest and build up to $1 million to do it. What are your thoughts there, Toby?
So it's whatever your number is. So this is a personalized visualization. The part that is generic is the $1 million donation. The rest is up to you. So Josh picked $10 million. I actually picked 11 because I wanted 10 after I was done. It's whatever number calls to you, John. There's no right or wrong answer. It's whatever number. For me to give away $1 million, I have to have this to feel comfortable. First thought, best thought.
I think it's a gradual put away over time. Let it build interest. Continue to do my tithing, and above and beyond, let it build. That's just what crosses my mind.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go with you can pick whatever number. Josh, we're going to go with your 10 million, just a real clean number. Okay. So Josh, and when will you make this donation? Year or age?
55 years old.
Okay. Do you mind me asking how?
50. I'm 50.
Okay. So 5 years. Okay. Perfect. Josh, if you so choose, you've made a bold declaration that you will donate $1 million by age 55. And the idea behind the contribution is it's the laser beam, it's the GPS for the abundance that follows with it. So the $10 million comes with the contribution. So yes, you get to be rewarded because it's not about selfless giving. It's about creating abundance for yourself, your family, and something that you really can make an impact to. The other side of this is we're not going to be here. Josh, you're a little bit younger than me. We're not going to be here forever. What will be our impact left at the end? I mean, we can make a real impact on people that are enslaved. Enslaved women that are human beings, or women that are trafficked, which is far more rampant than you would think. I will make a difference with homeless women with children. And the reason that was important to me is that maybe, just maybe, one of those women or one of those children won't repeat a family pattern.
Beautiful.
So what it seems like is what it seems like you're saying is that you need a strong why to fulfill this commitment.
Yes. And that is, with any great goal, if you want to get it done, have a strong why. This is the why. And I believe it's more than, it's the job that, and when I say job, I mean the God job. Like, I truly believe, and it could have been a lot of different things, right? I truly believe it is my God job to do this. So there's no, oh, I don't need the car, or I don't want the boat. No, I have to get this shelter done because of these women and these children, period. And Josh, I would impart upon you, you get to get it done for people who are held in slavery, which sadly is true.
Beautiful. And so somehow you believe that with that why, it helped you guide your decision. So in your case, when do you remember it taking effect? Because in the end, it worked. Was it something you reminded yourself of like monthly, weekly, daily?
It was a process. So I do write my goals out yearly. I tend to do vision, some type of journaling. It's not, I don't go into the desert and take ayahuasca or anything like that, but I do some simple journaling. Like, what does it look like a year, 5 years, 20 years, 50 years down the road? What does it look like when I'm not here? And they might be cryptic notes, but I have some clarity. As each year, and this is the kind of the time of the year I go through this, it became clearer and clearer. And then, I don't know, it was really 2.5 years. It was maybe 2.5 years ago as I was wrestling with, okay, I know I hit the 10 million, but I don't want to admit it yet. Like, I'm the first guy that you're going to run into that's trying to underestimate their wealth, double the tax man, because I was like, oh, I get to give away $1 million. So I was in resistance for my first year. And then once I got clear on it, it just came together. It was like a magnet that pulled me to the specific property, the specific charity. And meanwhile, this other deal came flying in which I really enjoyed. This other, like I enjoyed helping this family out. I love this piece of property. It's just a spectacular piece of property. So it is just the charitable donation was just the
Catalyst.
It was just the catalyst that drove all that.
No, I love it. And with that, John, when you and Toby met, okay, and you're talking about community and masterminding, how does community and masterminding fit, do you believe, Toby, into your life's purpose right now?
Hey guys, it's John Vroman, founder of Front Row Dads, and you're listening to Capital Hacking, the best investment you'll make today.
Well, so again, there are no coincidences. I've so many this. So the weekend before I met John, I was at another ranch in Texas for a different organization doing visualization and masterminding. And it's a wonderful organization. And right now, me and 2 or 3 other people are the top performers in this organization. So I felt like I had outgrown this organization. So when I'm looking to have this conversation around $1 million, the eyeballs roll in the back of the head because it's too big. So how does the mastermind? So here I am one weekend visualizing about, I need to find a bigger space to play in because I have a job that is to enroll 10 people to donate $1 million within 5 years.
Love it.
Okay. So then out of the blue, I'm talking to some guy named Jeff. And the next thing I'm talking to John, and I'm back at another ranch in Texas. So, and this is an organization that, what I've already begun to fill out is they may be impressed with my quality of character, but not impressed with my numbers or whatever, the business or whatever it is. It's not about, so you had $1 million, you gave it away. It's about the quality of the people that I've met that hold me to a higher standard. So back to the mastermind, I am now in a higher frequency with you only a couple weeks later. All a coincidence, of course.
Love it, buddy.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I love the shirt John's wearing, in case you guys aren't watching the show. Everything, the whole thing Toby just shared was abundance, right? I mean, if you're thinking in terms of giving away $1 million, aren't you thinking that there's abundance to be generated so that you can support others? So great shirt choice today, John.
It was intentional, my friend. It was not by chance. Toby, thank you so much for sharing with us today your transparency, your vulnerability, just even stepping out of your comfort zone and getting on a podcast, your first one. Congratulations. You did an amazing job. If our listeners have questions, they're like, you know what? That's going to be me. I want to donate $1 million and I want to be tracked as one of Toby's 10 to change the world. How do our listeners get in touch with you?
That's a great question because I don't have my own website or anything like that. And maybe that's the next step, but I do have a phone number. I'm happy to share it.
Go for it. That's the way to do it, Toby. You know what I mean?
Podcast, I put my cell phone on every single one of them.
And people might text you, and that would be great. I noticed you're not really using your social media pages either, right? You're not a big guy.
Well, so here's the thing. So I was told once that I was a big fish in a small pond, which is great for the ego, but not for the challenge. I feel like I'm in a bigger place. So the fact that I haven't used my social media in the past doesn't mean that I can't in the future.
All right. Well, it's great to get to know you, Bobby. We can't wait till the first 10 sign up. You got to call us. Got to get back on the show when we get to number 10.
Okay. Great.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Damn straight. We just got
buddy.
We got to the end of another great show. And everyone listening right now, you're the family. Family and friends. Thanks for staying till the end.
That was so fun. And hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We're here to serve you guys. That's why we're doing this show. Josh is not paying me. I'm doing this off of my quote unquote sweat equity because we want to make a difference in your life. And then that ripple effect will continue to touch the world.
Hey, amen, brother. Please check us out on capitalhacking.com, all the social media threads. And yes, I know you've probably already sent this episode to one of your best friends. Thank you. We love you. Just go right into your iPhone, hit the plus symbol. We'll talk to you later. See you next week.
Share.